My story about why I believe in reincarnation. As a Christian, I was born on the scales of judgment. My mom was a drug-addicted alcoholic stripper and had 2 children and was with my father, who was a cheater and was also very much on drugs and alcohol. And he didn't even remember having sex with my mom to have a baby. So, surprise, surprise, no one wanted me. So my mom, having had 7 abortions before me, was just gonna go ahead and have another. She made the appointment, she saved the money, and fast forward a couple months and it was time. And she was driving to the clinic and she was stopped by the police and given a ticket for who knows what, I don't remember. And then she went about her business and then only made it about 2 blocks before she was pulled over again and given another ticket for the exact same thing. So, by the time she made it to the clinic to have the abortion, she was late, very, very late for the appointment. Being far along in her pregnancy, they decided that they needed to find out if she was even able to schedule the next appointment because she might be too far along. So they were going to go ahead and check her and see how far along she was to see if they could even do the abortion legally. And as they were going about their business and she was waiting for them, she felt me move. I don't know why that is so significant to her. If I was too small, if I was, whatever the case is, it was profound to her. And she left. And all those years of being told that I was nothing more than a fetus, suddenly she realized that I was a baby and that I was fighting for my life. So she ended up in a Catholic church in downtown Denver. And this is a woman who was not raised to know God. She was raised an atheist. And the most she really knew about God was from her stripper friend, Butterfly. And she went in there. And she sat down at the pews and she started to pray and ask God for help and tell him her troubles. And she heard a voice for the very first time that said, "Trust me." And so she did. And she went out and she bought baby girl clothes because something inside of her told her I was a girl. And my mom came to know Jesus because she was pregnant with me. So if you ever wonder if your life has meaning or purpose, it does. Every moment of your life has a meaning and a purpose. Reincarnation, I became a drug addict myself. Later on, I went to rehab and I got better. But I went to a faith-based rehab that's a 2-year program. And one of the things that they did there was teach us how to pray. And so on Thursdays, we would go into this little room and we would pray. And it was hard for me for a long time. But when I finally got the hang of it, God started to show me things like he used to when I was younger. Anyway, there was plenty of those visions, but the one I'm talking about was a dream. I went to bed one night and I had a dream that I was up in heaven and I was sitting on the side of a bathtub and it was filled with the most crystal clear water. And Jesus was running back and forth from the water to the shelf filled with different vials of character, I guess. And he says to me, "I'm so glad you chose your mom again. I'm so glad that you're going to do it. I'm so proud of you. And I know it's going to be a hard life, but don't you worry, because I've put everything inside of you that you need in order to make it. And each time he's saying things like this, he's pouring new vials into the basin of water. And I remember looking up at him in this dream, and it was so real. It felt so real. And I said, Jesus, I don't want to forget you. And I started to cry. And he grabbed my face and he said, I will never let that happen. Long story short, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that my mom had aborted me 7 times. And my 8th time was going to be the time I actually made it to the world. So without ever knowing Dolores Cannon or any of this spirituality stuff, God taught me about it. And then he showed me in the Bible about how John the Baptist, Jesus called John the Baptist Elijah. How is that possible if reincarnation isn't real? Plus, when the people, probably the Essenes, came to ask him questions about reincarnation, and he said all the answers, but he never said it wasn't real. He said in the kingdom of heaven, no one will be given in marriage. But he did not say that we are not reincarnated. So, interesting stuff, I guess.